Morning guys. So firstly apologize if I'm sounding a little bit Barry White here. 2 days on live mic, but 2 really awesome days. This week's show on Hollywood Hills, bringing you round number 3 from GXCC's, a brand new venue in Secunda, as well as ICE, City Enduro 2019 from Port Elizabeth. Those were the 2 big bangers that I was running around the country covering this weekend. Let's start things out with the GXCCs and the junior categories. 50cc's, the little bobbleheads, the coolest kids on the gate, and the 50s once again giving us a massive lineup. It was at the top of the pile, Jake the Snake Pretorius. He is odds-on favourite to walk away with the championship, and it again looked like the terrain really suited him down at Secunda. Second place this time, one of the highest finishes on his season, goes to Cotter Bloxham. He's got some big backers in his corner as well. Look at the dude holding him. Ripper would line up on the OR1s. And then Wyatt Walter, who's racing almost every single weekend, and it is starting to show because he's podiuming him every single time, this time at a GXCC, 3rd place. For the 65 GXCC Warriors, Thor Johnson walks away with yet another win, this time beating out Damien Fenter and Brandon Clark. Clarky having a little bit of an issue this year as he moves up into the 65s, but the win is there, ready and waiting for him. In the junior 85s, Baby Bester, Kurbis Bester has been near on untouchable this time around. Xandro Pero in the number 2 spot, and Johnny Luck, still with the monkey on his back, still trying to get that win streak going in 2019. And then for the senior 85s, it's always going to be about Carl McKenzie. He's the fastest dude on the gate at the moment in 2019, and no one can get onto his wheel. He pulls whole shots every single time, and then he pulls the gap. On certain tracks, Troy Johnson can run with him. Troy got another number 2 spot, but was nowhere near the back wheel of the Mack Attack this time around. And Derek Karam is a new, very tasty rider who started to show form and climb the ladder. 3rd place once again sees him with a ton of points. For our quad category races, that's also who we're going to be talking about this week. Remember, we're splitting things up for the GXCCs. Just a reminder, this week it's the juniors and the quads. Next week it'll be the bikes, all those major categories. And there's a lot of stories there, so stay with us after the Easter holidays. Right now, the quads. The big story on the GXCC tour for the last couple of seasons has been the rise of Gideon Jacobs. He's unstoppable at the moment. Whole shots, wins. In fact, he's looking to try and go clean slate once again. Unfortunately, it didn't happen at Secunda. Major bike problems with the crash. Had to almost rebuild the front end of his bike just to try and get out there and get points on the plate. So it wasn't going to be a win, but it was points for Gideon Jacobs. That meant there was going to be new dudes at the top, and it was the runner-up from last season on the championship, Keenan Hammond, that went away with his first big win of the 2019 season. A track that suited the yummy and the small rider down to the ground. So it was a very strong second place for the big farm kid, Haney Macau Jr. He should really be for his size on a Q2, and he has for many seasons. But he said coming into this year, he wanted to race Gideon and see if he could have the beating of him. It was a number 2 finish for him this time around, with Gideon's teammate on the 421 Racing Squad, Dewald van Staden just behind, but the highest finish for him gets him a number 3 finish. In the Q2s, huge story as 421 Racing's David Stratham gets his first ever GXCC win going. Not only that, he was 2nd overall on the quads, so he also found the sweet spot in Secunda, beating out Stefan Swanepoel and the big guy, Johan Oosthuizen. So huge stories, and this may be a changing marker for our championship. This is round 3 of an 8-round series. For the ladies' quads gate, the big story has been who can get off the line and run and hide. Now in the dust, that's super important. But here at Secunda, there was 0 dust. It was perfect loam, and if you didn't get the gate you wanted to, you could run up to the back wheel of your competition, close them down, and make the pass. That's exactly what happened between Marty Backfisher and Carly. Marty got a gate, Carly didn't. She ran a good enough line though to get herself up there and go ahead and take another victory. So she knocks Marty down into number 2 spot. She isn't really extending in her championship, but Marty has got to get a win streak going as we near the halfway marker. Janine Stahls has been on the podium a couple of times this season. This time around she had to step down. She got a number 4. Abby Tonsing gets her first podium inside the top 3. Of course, we podium all the way down to 6th place at the GXCCs, but a high number 3 finish for Abby Tonsing. We'll see her change things up in the number 3 championship chase, but another win for Gnarly Carly. On the Masters gate, Brian Herbst dropped the hammer as always for the 421 Racing Squad, got the whole shot on the missus's bike and tried to run and hide. He was in good shape until the last lap. He ate a huge pile of farm out there and he dropped way down the order. This is going to have to be a throwaway for Brian. That saw everyone else climbing up the gate. Another win for the farm guy. And this is Henny Macau Sr. He got onto the top of the pile, chased down by Steph Bester. and Francois Smallberger. So those guys have got a ton of points, but Brian, as long as he has good runs throughout the rest of the season, will be going at it. It's definitely a title fight in the Masters quads between Brian Herbst on the 421 Racing squad and big Henny Macau Sr. That was what happened on the GXCCs for the kids and the quads. Join us next week as we go into the two-wheel categories, but stay with us today as we review ICE, the Inner City Enduro for PE. That was where I was the day after GXCCs this weekend. Okay, ICE, it's been running for like 5 seasons now. It's been an incredible initiative. For the first year, we had to work in a kind of weird area. For the last 4 years, been working in the Barkins Valley area in the middle of the kind of like valley area of Port Elizabeth, and it's just absolutely prime. Gives us a lot of places to play with, and Mike Glover has put on an amazing show for the last couple of seasons. What we've seen, though, is a bit of a trend. From the very beginning, it's been the Wade Young show. He took 3 wins on the bounce. Then last year, due to international duties, he had to miss out on the event. But that gave Blake Goodsight the gap, and the gap that he took with that crazy move from last year to walk away as the reigning champion. That puts him on a #1 ranking coming into the 2019 season. But with a pro lineup like you have never seen, it was anyone's call who was going to be champion of ICE on the Pro Gate in 2019. We'll cover the pros in just a moment, but let's talk about the other categories for the juniors and the support class. On the junior gate, the standout favourite from last year as well as this year was Tristan Hedgecock. He's one of the riders that's really worked on his game. His dad puts a lot of time into the program to make sure they've got an enduro cross track to practice with down at Cape Town, and the Leot Motul Rockstar looks like he was going to be the odds-on favourite. He pulled a ton of hole shots, but he was a little bit slower on his lap times than Titus Iverson. Iverson took every single qualifying heat win, and with it, he went on to win the main event and is your brand new crowned junior ICE champion. A #2 finish for Tristan Hedgecock, but we know that Iverson will be moving up into 125s. That means he's got a race in the Pro Gate for next year. That means the gap is going to be open for Hedgecock. But the juniors gave us 9 riders and cool racing throughout the entire day. On the support category, a similar name, Hedgecock will come up once again because Daddy Hedgecock, that's G-Man Graham, was absolutely dominant. He stayed in it, qualified out of the top 19 to make the final 8 cut, went down to the final 3, pulled a hole shot, and got it done. He is your new support class champion, and he brought with him the people's champion, Butterbean, Darren Gray. Big D Gray was down there with the whole KZN for the boys club, and he waved the flag nicely. He also had to come through something like 18 qualifying races, something stupid like that. He was sweating bullets, but he got a #2 finish, and he's got to be happy with that. So that's the kids and the support class. Job done. What about the pros? On the Pro Gate, you had Wade down there. You had Flanny, Double T, Blake Goodsight. You had Brad Cox. You had William Oosthuizen, Matty Green. You had a ton of standout talented riders from the coast. Chanel de Villiers was up there as well. Max Jourdan. A lot of support for the local kids. And unfortunately, Brian Kappa missing out. He popped his ACL just a couple of weeks before, so he was going to be a no-show. But on the standout riders, it had to be a favourite look to see if Wade was going to take his crown back, to see if Blake could defend his title, to see if Flanny could improve on his couple of podiums that he's had, and to see if TT could climb 1 more position up from the runner-up bridesmaid spot from last year. He was 2nd place, only 1 place to go from there. Throughout the heats, it was a story of basically those guys getting heat wins and progressing nicely. It was no surprise to see Blake, Wade, and Flanny make the cut and go into the final 3, which was going to be a 2-lap showdown to see who would be champion. What was a surprise, though, in the knockout rounds was to see Double T, Travis Teasdale, get squeezed out. He didn't make the cut inside of the top 6. Who did make the top 6, though, was William Oosthuizen and Walker. They showed really good form and good hustle. They'll make a main at some point in the future. On the pro line in the main event, though, it was a hole shot from Wade Young, and he ran and hid. Big problems in the early lap for Blake Goodsight, held him back. A problem around about halfway through the loop for Flanny, dropped him back down to 3rd place. And then a bit of a do-or-die run down the finish chute to see if Blake Goodsight could close in on Wade Young. He was really hammering it, but a massive crash pretty much halfway down the motor logjam sent him to the sidelines, allowed Flanny to come back through into 2nd place, but it was another win. That's 4 championship wins for the ICE champion, Wade Young. It was an amazing event. And remember, for 2019, ICE is running 2 more rounds. It's going to be a triple rounder. So we've already been to PE. We're going to go up to Joburg, It's going to be in July. I will bring you that advert as soon as it pops up on social media, and then the third round will be in Port Elizabeth. I hope you guys have enjoyed a little bit of a wild one. I'm apologizing once again for how rough I'm sounding on the mic here, but it's been a wild couple of days. GXCC number 3, Secunda in the bag. Secunda was definitely a standout favorite of mine on the season. No dust whatsoever, prime race conditions. And ICE 2019 round 1 at least is in the bag. Next week, it's GXCC 2-wheelers where we go through all of the pinner categories. Stay tuned.